So we just talked about why React is so much popular, and one of the reason is it's composable, which means even the most complex React app can be developed by creating and assembling components. Another good reason for React's popularity is its declarative nature, which is simply the opposite of imperative nature. Imperative means guiding someone step by step, which focuses mostly on how to do it, but the declarative nature focuses on what to do. In simpler terms, we simply need to tell React what to do, and the React will take care of everything else. Let's try to understand the difference programmatically. For example, we have to create a simple header element or h1 element, and we have to assign some class to it and give it some text, and then finally we want to append this header element to the root element. So if we go with the imperative syntax, then we first have to define a constant, let's call it h1. We have to create an element by using document.create element, which will be the header element, our h1 element in our case. Then provide some text to it. So we'll use h1.textContent. Let's write learn React with Idyllic learning, and then we also have to assign some class name to it. So we'll write h1.class name. Let's call it header, and finally we have to append this header as a child to the root element. So we first need to find or identify the element with the id root, which we can find by writing document.get element by id, and we have to provide the id as root. Please note that we are referring to the same div element with id root that we created earlier, and we'll be appending our header element as a child to this root element only. So we'll call dot append child and the h1 element that we want to append. So once we run our program, React is going to pass or append our header element as a child to this div element. So let's quickly run our program using npm run dev. Before running, I forgot to comment out the root.render. And if we run our program, npm run dev, and go to the web page, then we can see the content that we just provided. Now if you open our developer console and go to the elements tab, you can see the div with id root, and if we expand it, we can also find the header element as a child of this div element with the content that we provided. Now this can become really messy and complex, as we have already seen in our previous session, if we have to work with multiple tags and hierarchies. The better way is always using JSX. So here, if I uncomment this and would want to write the same thing, then I simply have to write an h1 tag, give it some class name, let's call it header again, and provide some text content, let's say learn React with Idyllic learning one more time, and we are done. So this single line using JSX does the same thing as the below 3 lines that we wrote using imperative style. Also note that we are using the extension as .jsx because we are writing JSX style code here. We can also use .js extension if we are not writing JSX code, and our program would work just fine.